A very good afternoon to you. Welcome to the West Ham Voice on a Monday afternoon. It's the 1st of July, and the summer transfer window is halfway through its third week, and the international window has now opened as well. West Ham have made two further signings, which should be announced sometime today, if not already done so by the time this video is released. And I'm going to talk about those two players in just a moment. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. It's free of charge. It doesn't cost you anything to become a subscriber, and all the content is also free. And if you like what you see and what you hear, please do hit the like button as well. So let's talk about the first of the two signings. And the first is the son of former West Ham player Kenny Brown, who is now coach at the club, managing the academy age group of 9 to 14s. And of course, he's the grandson of Ken Brown, who also played for West Ham throughout the 50s and the 60s. West Ham fan Lewis Brown confirmed that he was to be leaving Arsenal when his scholarship contract expired at the end of June. The 18-year-old defender progressed all the way through the ranks at Arsenal Academy. He's actually recently been training with West Ham, and he signed for the Hammers today, or the official signing is today, the 1st of July. During his time at Arsenal, Brown, who can play at left back as well as centre back, made 31 appearances for the under-18s, scoring 3 goals, and he often captained the team last season as well. So we welcome Lewis Brown to the West Ham family. And the other player that has signed is still only 16 years of age. And he signed for West Ham. He signed actually at the weekend. There was a photo of him signing, but of course, it can't be officially announced until today. West Ham have swooped to get this talented attacking player to East London. Now, Chigwada already had many clubs talking about him in English football. Born in the UK to Zimbabwean parents, Chigwada initially trained with Blackburn Rovers Academy. However, he caught the attention of Premier League champions Manchester City, who secured his signing 2 years ago in 2022. He's an attacking winger and attacking midfielder. Chigwada is considered one of England's brightest prospects, and he's already represented England at under 15 level. So what are his strengths and potential areas for improvement? Well, he possesses excellent close control, making him a threat in one-on-one situations. He has pace and agility, giving him that ability to beat defenders at relative ease. He also has good vision and can pick out teammates with excellent, accurate passing range. And he can play, as I've just mentioned, as a winger, as well as a central attacking midfielder, providing tactical flexibility. Now, as a young player, he may need to develop more physically in order to compete at higher levels. He, like many young talents, he needs to maintain consistent performances over time. And of course, he needs to improve his defensive awareness by tracking back, which could enhance his overall impact as a player. At 16, obviously, he's still developing. And with the right guidance and experience, he can address those areas and continue to shine on the pitch. The young talent has already made waves with his skills and unique moves, such as the Chigwada spin. Basically, this was Chigwada backheeling the ball with his right foot, spinning, and then nutmegging the defender with the outside of his left foot, showcasing unique skill and movement. Keep an eye out for his progress, because there's a suggestion that even though he's only 16 years of age, he could be knocking on the senior team door sooner rather than later, or the senior team squad, I should say, sooner rather than later. Now, of course, we've had 3 players that who've left West Ham United and who all said farewell on Sunday. The first, of course, is Said Benrahma. He made his loan move to French club Lyon permanent on Sunday. Well, today officially. As we know, he initially signed for Lyon back in January on a £5 million loan deal, with an option for the club to buy him outright this summer, which they've now taken up. And they've paid a fee of £12 million for his permanent signature. So £17 million overall. In his time at West Ham, he made 155 appearances, scoring 24 goals with 20 assists. The most memorable goal for me was obviously the penalty he took in the final of the Europa Conference League final against Fiorentina, which set us on our way to winning that trophy. Excuse me. It's never been an easy relationship between Benrahma and West Ham. The fans always kind of felt that he could offer more, but at times he flattered to deceive. Moyes simply didn't trust him, and he was always ready to put the player down, especially during interviews. And Benrahma always knew that he'd be the first player usually to be subbed during Moyes' tenure. It wasn't an easy relationship all round, but I respect Benrahma for what he's done at West Ham, and I wish the 28-year-old attacking midfielder all the best for the future. Now, by this time this video goes out, we would have already heard that Ben Johnson would have signed for Ipswich Town. It's suggested that Lopetegui had personally discussed with Johnson the opportunity to try and convince him to stay at West Ham. But the club could not meet Johnson's demands of a 60 grand a week salary and regular game time. But it's a shame that Johnson didn't give it a chance onto Lopetegui. I could totally understand his frustration because Moyes didn't really always use him in his rightful position at right back and didn't give him as much game time as maybe Johnson would have felt he deserved. But like Benrahma, this was a great opportunity to show what he was capable of and to prove that he was indeed worthy of a bigger and better contract. But moving to another club now that his contract has expired means that he would not only get the contract he craved for and possibly plenty of game time as well, but also he's going to get a nice signing on fee to boot. He made 109 appearances overall for West Ham, and I think everyone would say, you know, he's a West Ham boy, and we do wish him all the very best. Likewise for David Maama, there is current interest from Sunderland, but apparently that could be a bit tricky to sort out. He's become the latest in a long line of academy players who have taken agent advice over West Ham coaching advice and believes that he stands a better future in football away from the club. Many fans spent several years laying the blame on David Moyes for not giving young players, of which Maama was one, a good chance of achieving success. And even when he did, fans would then suggest that players were not being used to the best of their abilities. But Moyes is gone. And under Lopetegui, Maama, again, just like I've mentioned with Johnson, would have had another chance to really demonstrate what he might have been capable of under a new head coach. Now, I remember when Maama was breaking through, I did a special video on the player, believing that he had all the attributes needed to become a top player. But despite my waxing lyrical about him, I think many of us have to admit that he probably didn't quite have what it takes to become a Premier League proven player. But I hope he proves me wrong and that he has a wonderfully successful career wherever he ends up. Apparently, there are offers from Premier League teams, offers from Championship teams, as well as offers from teams in Europe. So let's see where this 18-year-old actually ends up. Now, like I said, Maama is not the first academy player to have decided that, for whatever reason, their futures were not at West Ham United. Let's not forget players of recent years who have also decided to take agent advice to move to other clubs. The first one that comes to mind is Jeremy Inakia. Back in 2020 season, Inakia, who to be honest was probably not even second choice in the under-21s, let alone being anywhere near the senior team, he was given a chance to play in the team because of multiple injuries to our right backs. He came in and did exceptionally well. So well that West Ham, in the final 6 months of his contract, offered him a new deal. He turned that down. He turned down all offers of any new deals on the advice of his agent, and he ended up moving to Watford, who ironically were relegated in that same season. Okay, they did win promotion back to the Premier League the following season, but then got promptly relegated again. So Inakia has been plying his trade in the Championship, but fair play to him for having forged a career at the club. And then, of course, we had Sonny Perkins, where he seemed to be one of the bright young players breaking through the West Ham academy, and he put in some half-decent cameo performances in David Moyes' team in the 21-22 season. He too was in the final year of his contract, and he too was offered a deal to stay. He got lured by Leeds United, who had only just avoided relegation that season. But guess what? They were relegated the following season. In his time at Leeds, he made more appearances for the under-21s, 28 in total, than he did for the senior team, of which he just made 4 appearances. So one has to ask themselves, would he have been better off staying at West Ham and potentially getting more game time in the senior team? We'll never know. He was sent out on loan during his Leeds stay to Oxford United and played just 6 games there for them. And in his final year, it's his final year of his Leeds contract now, he's about to embark on a season-long loan to the club he first started up at as a scholar, and that's Leyton Orient. And then finally, of course, even more recently, is Harrison Ashby. There were high hopes that Ashby would really break through the ranks at West Ham, but injuries hindered his progress. Just like Perkins, he too had some decent cameo appearances in the senior team. But he also wouldn't agree to a new deal, and in swooped Newcastle United, who signed him for a modest fee of £2.5 million back in January 2023. He made 2 appearances for the under-21s and no appearances so far for the Newcastle senior team. Throughout last season, he went out on loan to Swansea, but again, injuries hampered his progress, where a hamstring injury made him miss 12 games. Then that was closely followed up by a muscle injury, which resulted in him missing another 18 games. He did manage to play 16 times for this Swansea team, and it will be interesting to see what direction he goes in the season coming up. He has been playing in friendlies during the off season, so let's see what happens to him. But I guess the sort of the proof there is that sometimes life is not always better if you do leave West Ham United. And I think agents have an awful lot to answer for with a lot of young players. There's an awful lot of young players being given advice, I think at times wrongly. And it doesn't necessarily mean that their futures are going to be better should they move away from the clubs that they grew up in through the academy. That's the update. So as just to confirm, we've got 2 new signings. Lewis Brown, 18 years of age defender, son of Kenny Brown and grandson of Ken Brown. He ended his scholarship at Arsenal and he's signing for West Ham today. And also David Chigwada, the 16-year-old attacking player, signed from Manchester City as well. So look out for those 2 in the coming months to see their progress. There'll be more news coming up. As soon as I get it, I will bring it to you. Have a great Monday, and I'll see you all soon.